And I've been in this motherfucker since 2003, right? Because that's when I got signed to Aftermath, 2003. If you ask anybody, anybody that really know me that's in this motherfucker industry, and go ask Dr. Dre, man. Like, sit Dr. Dre down and really ask that about who I am and my character and, like what he really feel about me at the end of the day as a man.
It kicked off as a flashy TV stunt on VH1, a dating show built around the game with women competing for his attention like he was the hottest prize in the room.
Too much 50 Cent, not enough West Coast rap. 50 Cent. JC. I said JC. You old ass. You old ass. I will f thug up.
When have you ever heard an Eminem song in the club? I don't hear Eminem in the streets. I'm just a better rapper.
I can't get no loving in public.
No affection.
No holding hands, no kiss,
Back in 2015, he was riding that reality TV wave hard, trying to turn his image into something slicker and more mainstream.
I lost the best thing that ever happened to me, but now I think I'm ready to find that special someone. And I'm gonna give her 100% of everything that I got.
Game is looking for love.
You're gonna step into my life and take this journey.
And he's bringing 10 lucky ladies along for the ride. She's Got Game. New series premieres Monday, August 10th at 9.
She's Got Game was sold like a mix of The Bachelor and Love and hip hop, with drama, romance, and cameras everywhere, and the game sitting at the center of it all.
It seems like the whole mess, the fight, is Priscilla's fault. And that ain't really sitting well with me. You got some girls who
want me to go home, of course.
want you to go home.
I can't believe everyone's making such a big deal about me cussing out Sierra. She deserved it.
But behind the produced scenes and fake love story, a serious allegation came out and changed the whole picture fast. One contestant, Priscilla Rainey, ended up becoming a major legal problem tied to the show and his name.
What about you, fire starter? You good?
I'm good. No fire started today. So it sounds to me like they're trying to trash me in front of Jason to make me look like a fire starter. You know what? Let's go.
While filming in Chicago, Rainey accused the game of misconduct in public. She alleged that he touched her repeatedly, lifted her skirt, and embarrassed her in front of people at a sports bar. She even claimed he said, "Up before I eliminate you," and then pulled my skirt up in front of a crowd of people in Chicago at a club with the lights on and people taking pictures, to the point that 3 cameramen walked off set and quit because they got daughters and wives at home, and they said he's a piece of... After that, the whole story took a wild turn. Rainey was not picked as the winner of the show, but off camera, the real fallout was just getting started.
Let's clear that up now. I'm not screaming rape. He did not rape me. But what he did do is touch 3 times and told me shut the f up before I eliminate you, and then pulled my up in front of a crowd of people in Chicago at a club with the lights on and people taking pictures. To the point that 3 cameramen walked off set and quit because they got daughters and wives at home, and they said he's a piece of...
In August 2015, she filed a sexual battery lawsuit against the game, accusing him of assault during production. Now, this is where everything really spiraled out of control. Instead of showing up and defending himself in court, the game completely ignored the situation. He skipped legal notices, avoided subpoenas, and treated the lawsuit like it was nothing serious at all.
So if you could ask Nip himself, he would have told you, and he did tell you out his own mouth what, I contributed, to his career. Coming straight out of West Side, Cedar Block, Bompton, and Top Dog know what it is, Kendrick know what it is, Mustard know what it is, Ty Dolla $ign know what it is, Dr. Dre know what it is, Snoop know what it is.
One process server even said he tried 41 times to deliver the paperwork and still couldn't reach him. The judge wasn't letting that slide. Since the game never responded, the court issued a default judgment. And just like that, he was ordered to pay Priscilla Rainey a massive $7.13 million. Most people would have at least tried to fight back or settle things quietly, but the game stayed silent until it was way too late, and that decision hit him hard. Even after the ruling, he didn't seem to take it seriously. He went on Instagram and dropped a heated rant aimed straight at Rainey. He mocked her appearance, called her names, and denied the allegations, even saying she was lying and had a criminal past.
I want to be with my girl all day, every day.
I can't be with him 24/7. I'm sorry.
Sadida couldn't keep a promise if her life depended on it.
So what?
I can't get no loving in public.
No affection.
No holding
Because it
hands,
seems
no
like
kiss,
you always
no...
gotta.
But none of that changed anything. The court had already made its decision, and Rainey wasn't backing down at all. She went all in, pushing forward to collect that $7 million by any means she legally could. She went all in on tracking his money. Rainey subpoenaed his companies, dug into his assets, and pulled apart his financial world piece by piece. She even got court approval to take money straight from his label, Prolific Records. Then the game tried to flip it on Viacom, claiming they were responsible for casting Rainey. He sued for $20 million, but that move failed fast. The court threw it out and ordered him to pay Viacom's legal fees too. That's when everything really started falling apart.
You are giving me $10 million.
Let's go. Who's gonna give you $10 million?
Jayceon Taylor,
Also
is
known
giving
as
me the game.
Let's go.
It's giving me $10 million.
By 2020, Rainey leveled up her moves. She wasn't just going after accounts, she went after his music. The judge gave her rights to money from Prolific Records, including royalties from Born to Rap, the album he pushed as his big final statement. She didn't take a piece. She took everything. Every stream, every payment, every future dollar tied to that label was redirected straight to her. Anyone owing the game money had to pay her instead. That kind of hit is brutal. Imagine building your legacy just to see all the profits go somewhere else. It shook everything he built. Even then, he acted like it wasn't real. He claimed he was broke, joked about driving a Kia, and brushed it off. But behind the scenes, Rainey kept pressing, accusing him of hiding money through associates and companies while she pushed to uncover everything. By 2022, things got extremely intense. Rainey allegedly even subpoenaed his child's school, trying to confirm where he was staying so she could track him down and serve him directly. Every time he tried to avoid the situation, she came back with another move, and it kept working. At this point, it turned into a long, exhausting battle, and she was winning it step by step. By 2023, the game situation looked less like a simple legal issue and more like a slow collapse. Rainey had already taken control of the income from Born to Rap, but that barely made a dent in the $7.1 million he owed. His label wasn't bringing in enough, and his other ventures weren't covering the gap. She claimed she had only recovered around $500,000, not even close to the full amount, so she kept applying pressure. Her legal team pushed harder, demanding more financial records while accusing him of moving money around to avoid paying. They alleged that nothing was in his name anymore, not his cars, not his businesses, not even his home, with everything tied to associates or LLCs. Because of that, the court started viewing the situation as a possible scheme. That's when things escalated again. Rainey shifted focus to his Calabasas mansion, one of the last major assets still connected to him, valued between $3.20 and $4 million. That house was more than just property. It was a symbol of everything he still had left from his peak rap days. But Rainey wasn't letting up. She filed to have the mansion seized and sold to cover what he owed. The game pushed back hard, saying it was his legal residence and protected under homestead laws. He claimed he had lived there the whole time and losing it would leave him with nothing. But Rainey's side told a completely different story. They argued the house was just another hidden asset, possibly transferred to Wack 100 to keep it out of reach. No money was exchanged in that deal, and in court that raised serious red flags. The judge wasn't going easy on him either. By mid-2025, the court approved the sale of the home. The Calabasas mansion was officially set to be taken, one of the final blows in a legal battle that dragged on for years. Think about that for a second. How many rappers have lost their label money, royalties, and even their home all from one case? That's rare. And the craziest part, this didn't happen after some long courtroom fight. It happened because he didn't show up. That decision hit hard. Ignoring court dates and avoiding the process turned into the biggest financial mistake of his life. Meanwhile, his music slowed down, his brand lost momentum, and instead of hits, he was making headlines for online drama and public issues with other artists. It really started to look like he went from a respected name in West Coast rap to a warning story, playing out slowly like everything was slipping away piece by piece. And it didn't just affect him. The fallout hit everyone tied to his career. His team, collaborators, investors, even people close to him felt the impact. Wack 100, his longtime manager and a loud voice in hip-hop media, got pulled into the situation too. Rainey's legal team accused him of helping hide assets, including that Calabasas mansion. They claimed he was being used to hold things under his name to protect the game from paying up. In response, Wack went on platforms like DJ Academics to speak on it, trying to clear things up, but the explanations only raised more questions. Nobody could clearly say who owned what anymore. and the court wasn't convinced that the game had nothing left in his name. From a legal angle, shifting money into companies or other people's names to avoid paying a judgment is taken very seriously. Courts look at that as a major issue, and it can backfire fast. That meant Rainey had strong ground to stand on, and she kept pushing until everything was accounted for. Meanwhile, the game kept showing up like he still had something to prove. He dropped music here and there, stayed active online, and kept talking like everything was under control, downplaying the lawsuit and insisting he was still doing fine financially. But the court records told a completely different story. Everything tied to him was being watched closely and nothing was slipping through unnoticed. When he teamed up with Kanye West in 2022, rumors started flying that the money from that collab didn't even touch his hands. People were saying it went straight to Rainey. That's how far her reach extended. Legally, she had the right to collect every dollar until the full amount was paid. That meant every stream, every payment, every piece of merch linked to Prolific Records, or anything connected to him after the judgment, was redirected straight to her. At that point, making a comeback wasn't simple at all. Every move he made came with pressure attached. By 2025, the situation turned into full chaos with no clear end in sight. After losing his home and watching his music money disappear, he made one last attempt to fight back. His legal team argued that the seizure of his Calabasas mansion should be blocked, claiming he was never properly notified. He tried to say he didn't even know the court was coming for the property, even though this had been unfolding for years. But Rainey's side came prepared with proof. They showed efforts to track him down, including verifying where he was staying to make sure legal notices reached him. At this stage, it wasn't just legal moves. It turned into a full-on search for anything tied to him that could be claimed. You would think with all that pressure, the game would finally take things seriously, but instead he leaned even harder into the broke image. In interviews, he claimed everything he had, cars, jewelry, all of it, was rented or borrowed. He made it seem like he had nothing left in his name. On paper, that might have looked true, but Rainey wasn't buying it at all. She pushed back hard, filing to hold him in contempt of court. Her claims were serious, accusing him of ignoring subpoenas, hiding income, and using companies to move money around. She alleged that music revenue, brand deals, and other earnings were being routed through businesses tied to Wack 100 or other partners. At that point, it stopped looking like bad decisions and started looking like a full strategy to avoid paying, but the court wasn't fooled. With his label already taken and Born 2 rap profits redirected, he still hadn't cleared the debt. That $7.1 million followed him everywhere like a shadow. By then, his standing with the legal system was already damaged. Judges had criticized his actions, and attempts to reopen the case were denied. There was no claiming confusion anymore. All he could do was stall, but even that was breaking down fast. His image changed completely. Once known for West Coast dominance, now he was being talked about for legal issues and defiance. He went from going at names like Eminem and Dr. Dre to becoming a warning story in the industry. And just like that, his career started collapsing under the weight of court orders and a damaged reputation. The same fans who once supported him were now watching everything fall apart like it was some real-life drama series. Born to Rap, the album he promoted as his final and most personal project, ended up being his biggest loss. It didn't hit the numbers people expected, and every dollar it made was legally redirected to Priscilla Rainey. Think about that. Putting everything into a project, doing interviews, building hype, just for someone else to collect all the money, and it didn't stop there. Rainey also had rights tied to Prolific Records, meaning future music, signings, and even merch connected to that label were all on the table until the debt was paid. With no major hits since the documentary 2, the money just wasn't coming in fast enough. That left him stuck. No real momentum, no growth, just ongoing legal issues and online distractions. Even in the streets, the energy shifted. Respect started fading and people moved differently around him. He wasn't even part of major West Coast moments anymore, and that kind of absence said everything without needing words. He used to be seen as the face of the West Coast comeback, and now the new generation didn't even want him around. Fans online started questioning everything. Was it the lawsuit drama, his connection to Kanye West, or just years of behavior catching up? Either way, one thing was obvious. The game was no longer a priority. His credibility kept taking hits. Between avoiding legal situations and wild public moments, people started associating his name more with controversy than music. And in an industry built on image, that matters a lot. Once people see you as struggling, avoiding responsibilities, and moving messy, it's hard to rebuild that respect. But instead of stepping back and resetting, he stayed in the spotlight, just not in a way that helped him. Rather than focusing on consistent music, he leaned into attention-grabbing moments. Long posts, chaotic interviews, and appearances with big names. All of it felt like a distraction from what was really going on. Behind the scenes, it was one of the messiest financial situations in rap. Most artists would have adapted, started fresh, or moved smarter, but he didn't pivot. He kept talking like everything was fine while records suggested otherwise. Fans noticed, streams slowed, merch dropped off, and his name only trended when new legal updates came out. From respected figure to online talking point, the shift was clear, and the industry saw it too. Labels and collaborators became cautious. Working with him started to look risky, because anything tied to him could potentially be claimed, making even a simple feature deal complicated. That kind of drama doesn't just hurt a career, it spreads fast. Nobody wants to get tied up with someone surrounded by legal issues, and that's exactly what the game became. A rapper who couldn't even release music without questions about where the money would go. Fans started asking real questions too. How do you go from multi-platinum success and major tours to allegedly renting cars and avoiding legal trouble? How does someone with that kind of history let things fall apart so publicly? It wasn't just one mistake, it was a chain reaction. Ignoring the lawsuit, going after the accuser online, avoiding court, moving assets around, it all stacked up into a complete mess, and none of this stayed quiet. Rainey made sure it stayed in the spotlight. She went on platforms like Power 105.1 and This Is 50, breaking everything down and putting the situation out there. She claimed the show was staged, said she was already in a relationship during filming, and described how producers pushed drama for views. That gave her more credibility and shifted how people looked at the whole situation. At that point, it wasn't even about who was right or wrong anymore. It was about who was actually coming out on top. And Rainey, she was clearly ahead the whole time. She didn't just take him to court, she stayed steps ahead legally. While the game was online posting and showing off things not even in his name, she was stacking wins, seizing assets, and staying on top of every move he made. It started to feel one-sided, like one person playing strategy while the other wasn't keeping up at all. Even his manager, Wack 100, kept getting pulled into the situation. Legal filings accused him of helping move money around and holding assets. Whether that was true or not, it added even more tension to everything. Wack went on platforms like Clubhouse and spoke with DJ academics trying to explain things, but it only brought more attention. One moment he was defending decisions, the next he was being questioned about assets. At that point, it became hard to tell what was really going on behind the scenes, but Rainey stayed focused. She kept filing, collecting, and pushing forward. It stopped being about emotions and became strictly about securing that $7.1 million. And here's what stood out. Even with everything happening, the game still acted like he had time. He kept filing motions, denying things, and asking for exceptions. But the court had already moved on. Judges weren't accepting excuses anymore, and the pressure just kept building. Nearly a decade went by, and now he was claiming he didn't know what was happening. That didn't hold up at all. While all this played out, his music had no real momentum, no buzz, no strong rollout, nothing sticking. Fans had already moved on, and even blogs that used to support him only mentioned his name when new court updates dropped. He went from a major West Coast voice to a full cautionary story about bad decisions and delays. Meanwhile, Priscilla Rainey kept moving forward. Every missed deadline, every ignored order, she turned it into another win. By May 2025, everything hit a breaking point. The court officially ordered the sale of his Calabasas home to help cover the $7.13 million judgment. It wasn't talk anymore, it was happening. That house was one of his last major assets, and even selling it wouldn't cover everything. With an estimated value around $3.2 million, there was still millions left unpaid. With his label gone, royalties redirected, and assets tied up elsewhere, there was no clear way out. It started to feel like he was stuck, with every move making things worse. No matter what he filed or said publicly, the legal system had already locked things in. Every dollar connected to him was being tracked. Every attempt to bounce back came with restrictions, and even after the house situation, it didn't stop. Rainey's team kept pushing, looking deeper into finances and connections, trying to uncover anything else tied to him that could be used to recover the remaining money. This was never about taking everything from him. It was about enforcing a judgment he ignored for years, a situation that might not have escalated this far if he had just shown up and handled it early. That's the tough reality. This didn't spiral because of one weak moment. It grew because the process wasn't taken seriously. He brushed it off, avoided it, and acted like it couldn't reach him. But eventually, it did. And when it finally caught up, it hit everything. His label, his album money, his home, all of it got pulled into the situation. Now let's be clear, this isn't about deciding who's right or wrong. That's up to how people see it. What stands out is the lesson. When something serious like this comes your way, you have to face it head on. Ignoring it, joking online, or trying to outmaneuver the system only makes things worse. Trying to move money around or avoid responsibility doesn't make it disappear. It makes the consequences heavier. This wasn't just about losing a case. It was about losing control. And in an industry where business matters just as much as talent, that can change everything. From the documentary to Born to Rap, he had built a strong name. But instead of just legacy, this situation became part of the story too. That's what makes it hit different. Now, in 2025, his name isn't buzzing because of music. It's tied to everything that unfolded. People are watching, wondering what comes next. Can he rebuild? Maybe. The talent is still there, but without full control, assets, or financial freedom, every move becomes harder, and the road back gets even more complicated. This has to be one of the wildest downfalls in rap we've seen. From being in top 10 debates to being tied up in court documents, from sold out shows to losing major assets, the shift is hard to ignore. And the craziest part, it didn't have to play out like this. One court appearance, one proper response, one smart move early on could have changed everything. But instead, he handled it the wrong way. And now he's left dealing with the consequences. Whether he can come back from this, only time will tell. If you made it this far, respect. This whole situation was intense, messy, and full of lessons. Drop your thoughts below. Should he have moved differently? Was Rainey right to go after everything? Do you think a comeback is still possible? Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share if this story had you thinking. More deep dives, more rap stories, and more breakdowns are on the way.